Voting is a civic duty. Let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
Hi sir, to all of you faithful viewers of Equinoxe Television. It's time for the news. We thank you so much for joining us. We begin right away with our major stories tonight. Child theft or the disappearance of children in major cities of the country is becoming really rampant. Cases of lost children are reported almost every day in police stations across the National Triangle. In Douala, a family in the New neighborhood has been suffering after their 14-year-old daughter, an amateur football player, disappeared on her way back from a football tournament in New recently. For over a week now, the family has no idea of the whereabouts of their daughter. We take you to New in this news edition to tell you what actually happened. And we will also be talking on freedom of expression, which has been trampled upon more or less in our society. The network of human rights defenders say Cameroon is a democratic society and freedom of expression is one of the fundamental human rights of all Cameroonians. Those are our lead stories. Details when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. We begin with these news elements just coming into our studio a while ago. Close sources in Yaoundé inform us that arrested civil society activist Steve Akam, also known as Raymond Kota, appeared before the Yaoundé military court for a second time today. He was arrested in Gabon and deported to Cameroon and detained at the Secretariat of State for Defense in Yaoundé. He is accused of insurrection, attempted coup d'etat on the personality of the head of state, financing of terrorism, trafficking of guns, and incitement to rebellion. Raymond Kota is pleading not guilty to all the charges brought against him. And according to our close sources in Yaoundé, Steve Akam, or Raymond Kota, is also said to have been questioned on his suspected relationship with some opposition leaders, including Professor Maurice Kamto of the CRM political party. We are told he said he has no relationship or a close relationship with the political leaders. He decried poor detention conditions, threatening his health. So we will be coming with the details in our subsequent news editions precisely at 8 p.m. In other news, exactly 1 week today, that 14-year-old Grace Kweja was reported missing after she went to watch a football match at the St. Raymond Catholic School playground in New Casino in the Douala 2 subdivision. Since her disappearance, her mother and family have been inconsolable while beckoning on those keeping her daughter to free her. Immaculate Fogwe takes us to the New neighborhood to explain to us the circumstances that led to her disappearance.
14-year-old Grace Kweja was last seen at this playground, seated next to her coach, watching the Maracana tournament. The aspiring professional footballer had been declared missing a week ago, a situation that has left her mother, family members and neighbors in a state of dilemma. My daughter began training here 3 weeks ago. On Monday at 6:30 p.m., I noticed that my daughter was not yet back home, so I called the coach to inquire about her whereabouts, and she informed me that she was on her way home. 10 minutes later, my daughter came back to the house. The next day, I checked the time and I noticed it was 7 p.m. and my daughter wasn't back yet. So I headed to the field to look for my daughter, but she was nowhere to be found. The coach with whom Grace had been training for the past 3 years claims not to have a hand in the disappearance of the little girl. She also says Grace immediately went back home after training.
Nous sommes allés jouer le matin. Nous sommes rentrés, il était 12h30.
We had rehearsals in the morning, and at 12:30 we were done. They all went back home. I don't know how she managed to leave her house again. My players can testify. I don't know where she went to. I am equally confused. I carried out my little research, and I was told she was discussing with some boys at the field. I carried out my own little research, and I was told she was discussing with some boys. So I asked one of my players to show me the boys. She later brought me to one of them, and I began questioning him, and he told me he has no idea about Grace's whereabouts.
C'est comme ça que j'interpelle le gars, je l'enquête aussi. J'étais avec ma collègue.
A teammate who was lastly seen at the playground with Grace while being questioned about her whereabouts was asked by her coach to stay mute.
Elle dit, vous allez me forcer à parler en nous méprisant.
While I was looking for my daughter at the playground, a young boy saw her picture in my hand and pointed to another girl, telling me that she is the goalkeeper that was walking around with Grace and that I should ask her about her whereabouts. But the girl claimed to be innocent. Even her coach asked her to stop talking while we were trying to question her about Grace's whereabouts.
Arrivée à la brigade, elle a d'abord commencé à menacer les gens ici. C'est par force.
The teenager has been described by our neighbors as a calm, hardworking and dedicated child. Meantime, the case is currently being followed up at the Kululu Gendarmerie Brigade. It should be noted that this is the 4th case of kidnapping recorded this year in the New Bell neighborhood.
Sad indeed. Hopefully they find their daughter. And child theft or the disappearance of children in major cities of the country is becoming really rampant. Cases of lost children are reported almost every day in police stations across the National Triangle. Cedric Chakuto spoke with some experts who attempt answers as to why child theft is now very rampant in our society.
In Cameroon, the disappearance of children and people has become rampant these days. In police stations and on social media every day, one can record at least an average of 3 misplaced individuals or child. A phenomenon expert says is due to some negligence and conflict from parents. This at times happens because parents who are in a procedure of divorce are fighting to keep their child. The child sees an opportunity to make a choice. At times also, it's due to some negligence on behalf of the parents who do not take keen care of their children. A situation which leaves parents in shock and panic. Experts have an advice to stop this phenomenon. Experts call on the vigilance of parents who are mostly affected.
Let's now talk something else. A group of human rights lawyers and civil society actors in Cameroon has told the government of the country that all attempts to instigate, threaten, arrest and silence journalists, human rights defenders and democracy activists are inadmissible, illegal, unfounded and devoid of any legal rules, alerting the violation of human rights in Cameroon at the dawn of the presidential election. The rights defenders highlight the need to respect the constitution of the country as well as the international legal instruments ratified by Cameroon. For me, Armstrong Sander has the details.
Platform of benevolent lawyers and civil society organizations is raising an alarm over what they say is a consistent violation in Cameroon of the United Nations Convention of the 10th of December 1984 on the fight against torture, cruel and other inhumane or degrading treatment, and also the Geneva Convention on Refugees and subsequent protocol. In a press conference in the city of Douala, the platform pinpoints 5 specific cases. One, in their words,
intimidation, attempted arbitrary arrest and or abduction of Dr. Aristide Mono and Mr. Valebe Bisala. For the platform, both persons only exercise their right to freedom of opinion and expression guaranteed by the Constitution of Cameroon. In Article 9, Sub 2 of the African Charter on Human Rights and People's Rights, Article 19, Sub 1 of the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. Cameroon is signatory to all these instruments.
The infringement of freedom of the press and access to information, the intimidation, attempted arrest, and illegal arrest, as well as kidnapping of journalists from private television, radio, or newspapers.
Press release number 00007/CNC/2024/PC/AJ/CCJ of 8 August 2024, 5 media outlets are involved.
Then, the Glencoe financial scandal.
The platform announces that it will be on the 10th of September in London, as well as at the Glencoe's office in Douala, for the demonstration of the truth about this scandal, which not only tarnishes Cameroon's image internationally, but impoverish at the same time thousands of Cameroonians citizens.
As well as the arrest, expedition, and incommunicado detention of Steve Akam.
Barrister Tamfu, a lawyer of the Cameroon Bar Association, was sent in Yaoundé to search for the place of detention of Steve Akam alias Ramon Kota. It was after investigation that he was informed that Ramon Kota was detained at Set, except that when at Set, no officer or investigator wanted to say a word about it.
For the platform, all attempts to intimidate, threaten, and arrest or silence journalists, human rights defenders, democracy activists are inadmissible, illegal, unfounded, and void of any legal rule. Highlighting Article 4 of the Cameroonian Penal Code, which provides for the penalty of nullity, the platform calls on all victims to channel their summons to redact for follow-up lawyers.
Let's now talk about this road accident which happened in the Ndé division of the West region. In it, several passengers were injured in that accident which happened along the National Road number 4 in the West region. The accident involved a heavy-duty truck which crushed 2 private vehicles, and according to eyewitnesses, the truck had a brake failure. No human life was lost, fortunately enough, but the vehicles were completely destroyed, as Mala Glory tells us in the report which comes up next.
It was around 9 a.m. when a heavy-duty truck transporting several bags of cement from the city of Douala to the West region came into head-on collision with a private vehicle at the place called Carrefour Centre Touristique in the town of Baganti. The vehicle is now in a state of no repair.
La petite voiture, comme je vous ai dit là, était garée quelque part là pour attendre la voiture attendre les passagers de Bangwa.
And another taxi that was crushed by the truck while it was standing along the road to pick passengers. The truck later tumbled and landed in a valley. A witness and a driver who narrowly escaped death explained that the heavy-duty truck experienced brake failure and was speeding, causing panic to onlookers. In the state of speeding, it crushed 2 vehicles on the way. Several people were injured, with one of them in a critical condition. No life was lost, but the vehicles are now a complete sham.
We stay in the West region, where a clandestine drug manufacturing factory has been dismantled by custom officials in Buda in the Bambutus division. The factory, which was operating in an unsanitary environment, was involved in manufacturing and recycling of expired medications. Lucy Liengu Esie has more.
Custom officials in the West region, during an operation carried out in Buda, dismantled a clandestine drug manufacturing factory located in Tingwe. The factory was involved in the recycling of illegal pharmaceutical products and expired drugs. These residents served as a laboratory for the recycling and manufacturing of expired medications and other harmful drugs. Before the medications are sold in the market, they are stocked in a magazine which harbored pigs. Everything here is expired. Oh, even pig feed is mixed with the expired medications. Thanks to their good information network, the custom departments of the West region were able to destroy dangerous factory. This was in the presence of the senior divisional officer of Bamboo Tools. We discovered a factory with expired drugs. They include asthma, malaria medications. I must tell you, these drugs are deadly and can destroy one's health. Despite the government's efforts in the fight against the sale of contraband drugs, the activity continued to gain grounds across the national territory. However, the head of the Customs Department, West Region, decried the non-collaboration of the population. This operation is in line with the fight against the trafficking of contraband drugs in Cameroon.
Now we take you to the Meme division of the Southwest region. Few weeks to back to school, education stakeholders and chief in the Meme division say that security forces should be heavily deployed to villages to enable a smooth back to school that would become September. They made their intentions known to the senior divisional officer for the Meme division, Tundong Chamberlain, during a preparatory meeting which took place in Kumba. Smajikan Gabriel was there.
Just some few weeks left for the 2024-2025 academic year to start, the administrative authorities in Meme Division have started fine-tuning strategies to have a successful school year. At the conference room of the Senior Divisional Officer of Meme, education stakeholders were brought together to share ideas.
To identify those villages where those pockets of resistance are there, I think if those are identified, maybe it can be a possible way out as solution to some of these problems. And they encourage other villages, especially chiefs of other villages, to hold similar meetings to see how they can identify areas where those children are still hiding. When the village is peaceful and want schools to resume, can I come in? They say, no, Mr. Principal, hold back until we give you the green light.
In zones like Konye subdivision, the local authorities have started their preparation, they say.
We began raising funds so that we can assist the mayor so that we can prepare a set GS, so that government schools can join there and operate.
Unfortunately, most teachers had already been moved. They made this suggestion.
I'm proposing that even one technical school and one secondary school should start in Konye town, and the government should mobilize security for those teachers to come back. Delegates should see the regional delegates so that our teachers can come back to the schools that are functioning.
Security remains one of the major issues for most of the villages. The senior divisional officer of Meme sends this message.
National authorities to go deeper in the various villages, to talk, discuss, negotiate with all those who are disturbing peace and security there.
Many are now waiting to see how far the discussions during this meeting will be applied on the field come September 9, 2024.
Let's now take you to our foreign page. Monkeypox is said to be causing great havoc in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Innocent Azar will be telling us more. And also he will take us to Morocco, where the king has released over 500 detainees.
The Health Ministry in the Democratic Republic of Congo says cases of the monkeypox virus are rising in the country as the Central African nation awaits vaccines from the United States and Japan. The toll this year has risen in a few days from 16,000 cases and 548 deaths to 16,700 cases and a little more than 570 deaths. The DRC's Health Ministry qualified this in a press briefing on Monday as a continental emergency. In the meantime, the World Health Organization calls on affected countries to step up vaccination programs to counter a more deadly strain of monkeypox.
The US has promised 50,000 vaccine doses for Democratic Republic of Congo, while Japan on Monday agreed to send 3.5 million doses only for children. In Morocco, more than 4,800 people wanted or convicted of illegal cannabis cultivation have been pardoned by the Moroccan king. According to the country's justice ministry, the pardoned farmers met the conditions for pardon. The Moroccan government says it wants to integrate the produced cannabis farmers into the new cannabis strategy. In 2021, Morocco passed a law legalizing the cultivation of cannabis for pharmaceutical, medical, and industrial purposes. Recreational use remains officially banned but tolerated. In the United States, Democratic presidential nominee Vice President Kamala Harris maintains her narrow lead over Republican nominee former President Donald Trump as a betting favorite to win the White House. The action, which U.S. bookmakers cannot take part in legally, moved definitely towards the Vice President during the Harris-Walz ticket's honeymoon, but has remained steady ahead of the Democratic National Convention, which opens Monday. The two major candidates remain where they stood last week at bookmaker bet 365. The betting house had Harris in the lead at minus 125, with Trump at even money as of late Sunday.
Thank you, Innocent. That report takes us to the end of the first part of the news. Talking Point comes up next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers. Tonight we will be talking about the security situation of the Northwest and the Southwest region, so to speak. Few weeks to back to school, and our guest tonight is Ihumru Solomon Kudi. He is the mayor of the Benakuma Council of the Northwest region, and he will be talking about the difficulties the local authorities of his council area have been facing to ensure that schools resume normally or smoothly. That would be on the 9th of September for this academic year. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point and for talking to us tonight. Now, your council is in the Northwest region, the Benakuma Council area. Can you tell us the security situation of your council area at this moment?
Relatively calm, even though there are still some few areas with our boys still trying to make their voice heard there. But I think generally it's relatively calm. Even the hostile nature of those children in the past, we have witnessed a change of attitude. Yes, they have become softer because we tell them that this country is for all of us. Let us build it. Let us not destroy it.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, you seem to be a little comfortable with what is happening in your local council area, but that seems not to be the situation in other council areas in the Northwest region. Now, can you tell us further how the crisis, which has now become a full-blown war, how has it been affecting economic and social activities as well as education in the Benakuma Council?
It's a very big municipality, having more than 80 primary schools. You can find out for yourself. It's not a small municipality with more than 35 villages, of course. But 31 are gazetted, which means they're recognized by government to have chiefs or funds. But more in the pipeline, which means that we'll have more gazetted chiefs in the years ahead. So it is really something that at times we cry, because from the very beginning most of those schools were stopped because of the preaching of school boycott. But some of the schools now are operational, which means that we have hopes that in the near future most of the schools will go operational in their various areas, not in safe zones as we used to call. That is our hope. It is our fervent hope, because even the hospitals were not functioning. Benakuma has so many health centers. Yes, about 9 or 10 health centers, then a district hospital. But from the very beginning of the crisis, everything went to a halt. Even the markets were not operational. We have very big markets, but they were not operational. But timidly, at least, we have some of the markets operational, even though we don't have a free hand to collect the local tools. Well, I may not really say that effectively somebody is collecting, because if our boys are collecting, they may not know exactly how many tools are meant for the markets. They may be collecting just some and leaving out some. So in short, it is just that is obstructing the council from functioning. Not that they actually collect something effectively, because if it is effective, they don't know how many council tools we have for the markets. So it's just some sort of obstruction.
And now, Mr. Mayor, schools will be resuming in September, precisely on September 9. And we might want to know, what are some of the strategies your council officials have put in place to ensure that schools resume and go operational smoothly, like you just said a while ago?
I think what we do generally is that we pass through development association to preach peace, especially those who harass teachers and pupils and students. That it should not happen, because our livelihood depends on education, and to reach out to those various communities, we pass through those development associations and even the chiefs. But we pass through development association through chief. You know that most often the development associations, they have their various meetings every year. So when they are meeting, most of them invite the mayor, if not all. All they invite the mayor, and what is the message to them? The message is that, please, education should be at the foundation level for us to take off. It is our right to educate ourselves, and it is our right to build our society. The society does not belong to maybe the DO or the SDO. No, the society is ours. If we want to damage it, we damage, because the DO has his own society. He has his own tribe. He can go there and you'll be the loser. So the DO has just come to galvanize and bring development to your place. So I think generally we caution the people through the councillors. There should be peace crusaders in their various council areas. That is how we have been managing the situation up to now. And truly speaking, there is a lot of change.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. We would have loved to understand or to know how the crisis has affected your local council, but we will sure be talking on that in subsequent news editions when you are going to be our guest right away from Benakuma in the Northwest region. Thank you again for being with us tonight. And viewers, thank you too for the confidence. And don't go away, our programs continue. Equinoxe live from Yaoundé in about 30 minutes or so with Guy Zogo, and the news in the French language with Julien Bet-Bissay comes up at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.